nice greenhouses too that I have available here if you're interested. Now, that's part of the picture. What we've been talking about, converting lawn to orchard and berry patches and gardens, is part of self-sufficiency. Season extension is important, but there are also opportunities for us to engage with our neighbors. And here we are talking about self-sufficiency, but we have a much better chance of being self-sufficient if we have like-minded neighbors who are working toward those goals as well. And my friend Dave Wan and I wrote this book years ago, published it through New Society Publishers, which is one of the sponsors of this event. An amazing publisher, very, very forward-thinking publisher. They deserve a Nobel Prize just for the books that they bring to the general public to help folks like yourself become more self-sufficient, and excellent, excellent company. And I published 12 or 13 books with them. They're just an amazing group of people. And in fact, they paid my way here, which is very kind of them. But so think about this too, is that how can we engage our neighbors? So Dave Wan and I wrote a book on creating sustainable neighborhoods. All right, and there's some pretty crazy ideas in here, but very eminently doable, and there's some amazing communities where people are doing this. So one idea is if you live in a neighborhood that has a vacant lot, one opportunity that you might have is to create a community garden. Each person has a plot or two, and what I really like about this idea is that you can share the work. If I'm going away for a week's vacation, I can ask Jesse over here, well, hey, listen, I'm going, would you just kind of watch it, and if it needs water, take care of it, pick all the tomatoes you want, they're yours, just for helping me out, and then vice versa. If he ever takes a vacation, I'd be happy to take care of his lot. So it's a neat opportunity. Maybe I have a bumper crop of zucchini, and his zucchini fail. It's highly unlikely, but in any event, just suppose that was the scenario. But he had a great tomato crop. We can do some trading. So this provides a tremendous opportunity for us to work together to create self-sufficiency. Not only that, is that we can also think about tearing down backyard fences and creating community gardens. I know this is a really radical idea, and I'm going to tell you a way that this can happen. And believe me, there are communities that do this. There are some places, where else? California. But some really cool opportunities to, instead of everybody having a little patchwork of a postage stamp size back lawn, to remove some of the back fences, maybe all of them, and provide room for a community garden or a community orchard. Pretty neat idea. Provide space for a community composting facility. So provides, if you can imagine, and I visited a community in Davis, California, and there were probably 20 homes, and every single one of those homes, they had torn down the backyard fence, except for one old curmudgeon. He would not have anything to do with it. So he had his privacy fence around his, but the whole rest was just one big open area. They raised chickens, they had gardens, they had fruit trees, they had a sauna, they had a patio where they would all gather for dinners. It was a remarkable place for kids to play. So there's an opportunity to do this. Now, probably the idea of it sends chills up your back because the thought of working with your neighbors, can be kind of daunting. But I want to talk to you about a way that maybe this could happen. So it's a great play area for kids, room for sports, gives kids a safe room to play. And you think about the opportunities. This is a co-housing community where they have no backyard fences, but what they're able to do in this case was basically build one large play area. Instead of every family having its little play set, their swing set, they have one large super play area for all the kids in the neighborhood. This is a backyard of another community. This isn't the one I was talking about, but this is a planned community in Davis, California that I visited years and years and years ago. This is their backyards. You're looking in the backyards, you can see some of the houses, and as you walk around, there are cherry trees, you can pick cherries off the trees, and apple trees. It's just a really neat model of, of community cooperation. So you've got a choice. What would you prefer, this or something more like that? We have a tremendous opportunity to not only beautify our neighborhoods, but make them productive and help make us more self-sufficient. Okay, how do you do that? All right, I would not propose that you put a bulletin or a flyer out on your telephone poles and invite people to come to a dinner where you're going to propose tearing down the fences, but work at it slowly. In our book, Superbia, we talk about how you get started. One way would be to sponsor potluck dinners and start developing community. Start developing some community in the community you live in. Gives kids a great opportunity to get to know each other. There's a really neat example. I gave a speech in Elgin, Illinois. It's outside of Chicago. It's where the watches were made, or I don't know if they're even still made there, probably made in China. But they have this blue tulip program. And someone rescued this blue tulip from a dumpster. And what it is now is in the summer, spring, summer, and early fall, every week this tulip shows up on someone's front lawn by their permission. So it would be your week. Shows up on Monday, and that says that on Friday evening, when work is all done, there's a party going on your front porch, and it's a potluck. Bring something to drink, and it's just a wonderful way for neighbors to get to know each other. And so starting some community dinners. If you're thinking, yeah, maybe I'd like to try this, maybe I'd like to try to engage more of my neighbors in creating self-sufficiency, this might be a way to start it. And what you find out is the possibilities are numerous, that you could lead to eventually to a community garden and composting facilities. It's not going to occur overnight, but over time, community recycling program, you'll find common interests amongst neighbors, new friendships amongst adults and children, carpooling opportunities. You might find that your next door neighbor works 2 blocks down the street from you in the city. Find an opportunity to carpool. Tool sharing opportunities. You guys probably hate this idea, but there's no reason for every single home in the neighborhood to have a chainsaw. Although, I'm sorry guys, I know that's hard for me to say. We all have to have our tools, right? But why not share tools? There's a tremendous opportunity to share tools in a neighborhood like this, and work sharing opportunities. I wish I could tell you how many times my partner Lynn and I would start a project on Friday night thinking, oh man, we'll start Friday and we'll work on it Saturday. Saturday night we're going to go out to dinner and have some wine and we'll be all done. Here it is Sunday night, the sun's setting, we're still working on the project. How wonderful would it have been had a neighbor or 2 or 3 come over and say, hey, we'll help. We've done this before, we'll help you. We can get this knocked off in a day. Tremendous opportunities to become closer, to create a sense of belonging in our neighborhoods. And that's, I think, one of the things that's missing in our lives. Dave and I used to give this talk all across the country, and when we ask people, what are they missing in their communities, it's almost always a sense of community. Is that I live in the suburbs, and I never see my neighbors, or if I see them, it's very rare. I see them pull up to the garage door, the garage door opens, car gets swallowed up, garage door shuts, and then the only sign I see in habitation is a light shining in that room at night. So it brings a sense of closeness and community, which is really going to be important when it comes to self-sufficiency. So I put together this slide for our talk that shows all of the things that can come out of these community endeavors. And it was really amazing. I lived in Evergreen, Colorado for many years, and we had a house sitting and babysitting co-op, and we also had an organic food co-op. And what we did for house sitting is if I was going away for a week or 2, I'd just ask, hey, I'm going to go, would you come feed my kids ferrets and just make sure the plants are watered? And sure, I'd be happy to do that. I just live right next door. And when you go, I give your Labradors their shots and pills and just make sure your house is safe. And it's a wonderful opportunity for us to work together. We also had a babysitting co-op, and it was amongst adults. One of the big complaints in our area was that you'd hire a teenager to come take care of your kids, and then on Friday afternoon, he or she calls and said, hey, something's come up, I can't come. It's like, great, we've got $80 tickets to the theater, and we're going to go out to dinner, and now I got no babysitter. But with adults, it's a mite more reliable. So we have this wonderful babysitting co-op, pet sitting co-ops, all kinds of things that can grow out of these community dinners. So lots and lots and lots and lots of opportunities to create community.
To learn more, pick up a copy of Dan Chiras' books, Survive in Style, Living Comfortably Off-Grid, The Scoop on Poop, and Chinese Greenhouse at evergreeninstitute.org.